Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I assume that everyone has muted so far.
Because I'm not getting any other feedback from anyone, so maybe we can begin.
Yes, Prabhuji. I will also mute my call.
So what we'll do is, after I speak for maybe about 20-25 minutes, we can open it for feedback and question answers. And if there is time, we can take on further. Will that be okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamyam Tadati Svapadantikam Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna. Welcome to all of you for our online Sanga. We are beginning this small endeavor with the kind help and organizing effort of Srimati Shuddha Bhakta Devi Mataji from Connecticut. And I am deeply indebted to her for initiating this online Sangha. The prayers, the prayers of Vedic scriptures are always a big support system for aspiring sadhakas. And number one, they give us an understanding of the inner software of a pure devotee's mindset. What exactly happens inside. Offering prayers is one of the angas of bhakti, one of the limbs of bhakti. For example, we have Ashtanga yogis having their Ashta Anga, 8 limbs: Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi, like that. So we also have Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam, Navdha Bhakti, 9 processes of devotional service. Srila Prabhupada was very, very surgically precise as to what exactly he wants to propagate, how he wants to teach the world. So, although an understanding of God, which is what many would be propagating or many would be interested that the world should know, Prabhupada said even more precise than being God conscious is Krishna conscious. And the reason is Krishna is the absolute truth, the summum bonum. He preferred this Latin word. Summum means total, bonum is good. Who is capable of giving the highest good? From one point of view, in this material world, there is always competition. And competition means you are willing to neglect the harm, the disadvantage, the trouble which your competitors face, because you feel if I show sympathy for them, that will harm my cause. So, in one lecture, Prabhupada says that there has to be violence in this material world. First, when I heard that, I thought, why being so pessimistic? If we all come together and there is a peace conference, everybody talks of peace. If we pray for peace, won't peace come? And Prabhupada says, well, unless you remove the idea of trying to enjoy this material world, there cannot be any peace. The moment we keep ourselves in the role of an enjoyer, we invite competition. Competition begets violence. And then there is no backing away from that. We have to participate in that particular process. Now, it's not easy for neophytes like us to just say, all right, I renounce this game, I renounce this material world, I don't want to be part of this competition, I don't want to be violent. And this is exactly where Arjuna found himself in that situation. And Krishna told him, it's your duty. You are a warrior, you have to fight. So, this is the consciousness of Krishna that our society is meant to propagate, meant to inculcate, meant to educate. We want to teach it to others. We want to teach it to ourselves. And this is a 24/7 process till the time we reach perfection. And Prabhupada assured all perfection, however long it may take, but success is guaranteed. So with the help of prayers of advanced Vaishnavas, we understand what's going on in their mind. The next thing about a prayer is, because these prayers are sort of sustained by pure devotional sentiment, there is a reciprocation from Krishna. And the bhakti potency, the Swarup Shakti of Krishna, she nourishes the devotee's mindset, the pure devotee's mindset. And like Krishna is unlimited, Krishna's seva is unlimited. So all these pure devotees, their devotional sentiments, they come out in unlimited ways. And therefore, somebody might say, I love the prayers of Queen Kunti. Someone says, oh, I love the prayers offered by the Prachetas. Someone says, oh, I love the prayers offered by Dhruva. Someone says, I love the prayers offered by the Gopis, by the Yagyapatnis, by the queens of Kalia. There are unlimited ways in which this process of Vandanam can be seen in action. We are beginning this small effort of relishing the sentiments of Sri Bhishma Dev, and this is first canto, 9th chapter, 32nd verse. Those of you who can simultaneously look at your mobile screens on your pocket Vedas or Gita base or Veda base, whatever, or if you have a hard copy Srimad Bhagavatam, you can do it now. Or those who just prefer to hear it, that also is all right. So first canto, 9th chapter, 32nd verse. I will sing the verse. Shri Bhishma Uvacha Iti Matirupakalpita Vitrishna Bhagavati Sattvat Pungave Vibhumi. Sorry, Shri Bhishma Uvacha Iti Matirupakalpita Vitrishna Bhagavati Sattvat Pungave Vibhumni Swasukham Upagate Kvachid Vihartum Prakritim Upayushi Yadbhava Pravaha. Translation. Bhishmadev said, let me now invest my thinking, feeling and willing, which were so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties, in the all-powerful Lord Sri Krishna. He is always self-satisfied, but sometimes, being the leader of the devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending on the material world, although from him only the material world is created. Srila Prabhupada begins the purport by describing the greatness of Bhishma Dev. Prabhupada says that Bhishma Dev was a great statesman, a very, very respected politician. It is described in the Mahabharata that he lived on this material plane, this material world, for almost 456 years. I heard it in our dear Gaur Krishna Maharaj's summary of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, no wonder he's called grandfather, Pitamaha. He is described here as the head of the Kuru dynasty. Bhishmadev has the Bhishmadev which we see, like these prayers are offered from the battlefield. In December, we have our Gita Jayanti, which is the Margashirsha month, the advent of Bhagavad Gita, which is an Ekadashi. 80 days after that, the Mahabharata of war was fought. And from that day in December till Makar Sankranti, when Bhishmadev decided to leave, all these days he was lying on the battlefield. And why didn't he feel any pain or torture? Well, There is a backstory to this backstory. There is a group of sadhus, great tapasvi rishis, very, very learned, called the Vasus. And for a offense, 8 of these Vasus were told that you have to go down in this material world and take birth as ordinary mortals. So they said, all right, if we have to be born here, let Ganga Devi be our mother and let our life on this material planet be as brief as possible, shortest time possible. So Ganga Devi also had to suffer the same punishment. She came down as a very beautiful woman. King Shantanu got enamored by her looks, by her beauty. He talked with her. He thought that she's a very illustrious lady. But she didn't tell him which family she belongs to and what exactly was she doing there. And she put a condition that you want to marry me, you should not challenge me or question me about what I do with our newborn child. The king thought, all right, this is a very strange request, but I will agree. But little did the king prepare for the horror which he was about to see when the first child was born. She just took him out and threw him in the Ganga, saying, this is good for you. Imagine as a father, what would happen if you see your newborn child being thrown like that. She did that with 7 newborn kids. Now the 8th child was about to be born, and the king said, stop, you cruel-hearted woman. What kind of Pishachini, what kind of Dakini, what kind of witch are you? What mother would tolerate throwing her own newborn children into the river? And what is this that this is good for you? At that time, Ganga Devi said, O King Shantanu, you are a virtuous, chivalrous, very brave, very, very trained, cultured king. But I have to disclose you something. I am Ganga. These are the 8 rishis who had this curse. And upon their request, I had to do this. Now they are safely reinstated in their original position in the planets high above this middle planetary system. However, the 8th one, whom I just is about to throw, but you stopped me, I will keep him with me. I will train him up. And at a particular age, I will send him back to you. He has to stay in this material world longer than his associates. So the boy was named Devadatta, trained up by Ganga Devi, and he later joined his father Shantanu. And Shantanu loved Devadatta so much, and he was thinking, I'll be so happy the day I put him on the throne. Later, Shantanu again was enamored by the beauty of the daughter of a fisherman. He went and asked her hand, but her father was reluctant, saying that my daughter would be treated like a ordinary maid servant. And Shantanu had no reply. But every day, Devdatta could see that my father is having some kind of anxiety, some small worry is eating away his existence, so to say. Being very intelligent, he found out the real cause. He went there and assured that fisherman, the son born from your daughter's womb would be the king. Don't worry about it. The fisherman said, all right, this is very strange, and I'm taking your word for it. But tomorrow you would marry, but your son won't agree with that. At that time, Devadatta raised both of his hands, looked upwards, and said, I today take this vow that I will keep my word and I will also never marry. Now, this was very strange for a Kshatriya to say that I will remain like this. I'll remain true to the throne of Hastinapur. The demigods showered flowers on him, giving him the new name Bhishma. Bhishma. Bhishma means somebody who has taken a most terrible vow, a very torturous, arduous, difficult vow. So, technically, he was the head of the Kuru dynasty. Prabhupada says here is a great general. He fought so many battles. He took martial art from the great Parshuram. And later, in a particular episode, when Parshuram also forced him to marry, he said, I won't. You are my guru, but I won't. Parshuram said, then be prepared to fight me. He said, if necessary, I can do that too. And after so many days of fighting, even Parshuram could not defeat Bhishma Dev. It is described here that his mind was strewn over so many subjects, and his thinking, feeling, and willing were engaged in different matters. In fact, Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukdev Goswami glorifies him that one who could speak on thousands of subjects. The final Upadesh given by Bhishma Dev to Yudhishthir Maharaj goes into so many paragraphs in the Mahabharata, and just a summary is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. But today, Bhishma Dev is in a totally different mood. He is saying that he wants to invest all powers of thinking, feeling, and willing entirely in the Supreme Being, Lord Krishna. He is also described here as a leader of the devotees and all powerful. How can a devotee be described as all powerful? This is the part of bhakti that is a bit tricky, so to say. Satvata Pungave means the leader of the devotees, and Vibhumni means all powerful. We see that demons try to become all powerful. Ramayana is just around the corner, and we read in the Ramayana about how Ravana would boast, I am all powerful, I am all powerful. In the seventh canto, we have Hiranyakashipu saying, I am all powerful. Hiranyaksha saying, I am all powerful. Jarasandha, Shishupal. So strange that they want to become all powerful, but it's in competition with Krishna to take away that power and install themselves as the all-powerful person on the throne. Devotees don't desire that power, but Krishna gladly gives them in case there is a need. The same thing is with mystic siddhis or mystic powers. Showing mystic power is never the criteria for a devotee. Someone might show it, somebody might not show it. But thinking oneself to be advanced on the basis of how much mystic power you have, that's never the criteria. There's a story of Srila Prabhupada being asked about his magic. How can a elderly gentleman from India hardly knows how to speak American English? How can he have so many thousands following him? What is that mystic power? Prabhupada said, I don't have any mystic power. I just chanted Hare Krishna. These people liked it. They got attracted. I am a poor man. If you see, Prabhupada used this line so many times. I am just a beggar. How can I bribe them? These are already rich people. But the heart of a devotee, which is so soft and so pure, it attracts Krishna's opulence. And therefore, you find even a devotee sometimes is described as all powerful. Prabhupada then talks about what's the meaning of the leader of the devotees. Sattvatam means of the Vaishnavas. So Krishna comes down to bestow upon his pure devotees the boon of devotional service. And Krishna also comes as Lord Chaitanya. And Prabhupada says here, both are leaders of the pure devotees. Because pure devotees don't have any desire except to serve the Lord, they are called as Sattvata. There's a very nice explanation given here. Unless one is purified from all sorts of material desires, the Lord does not become one's leader. Desires cannot be wiped out, but they have only to be purified. So our material mind, with its material desires, creates that kind of competition. And as long as the mind is materially conditioned, we can safely assume that this mind will take the position of Krishna. This mind, the material mind, will not allow the soul to take the servantship of Krishna. Prabhupada is saying here, unless one is purified from all sorts of desires, the Lord does not become one's leader. So bhakti is described as a voluntary process. There is no force. There cannot be any force. One has to beg, one has to ask Krishna all the time, again and again and again, to become one's leader. It's a funny thing. By becoming the master of Maya, Krishna already is controlling us. It's not like somebody who doesn't want to become a devotee is actually out of Maya's control. But the sweetness of bhakti is where one voluntarily gives his material desires and says that, Krishna, I would like you to handle the affairs of my life. And every sincere request, Krishna takes it seriously. In the Ramayana, Lord Ram is saying Once, just once, if somebody says, I am yours, I accept him. I heard a very nice thing in one class by Radha Govind Maharaj that there are so many different ways in which the Ramayana story is relished by devotees of Lord Ram. One understanding is, how did Ravana become so powerful? So, since he was a devotee of Lord Shiva, he decided to offer his head, ultimate sacrifice. Now, this is the extent to which a demoniac mind can suffer, can be so austere, be so tolerant that one person can withstand the pain and suffering of cutting off your own neck and offering it into the sacrificial fire. So Lord Shiva immediately comes in front of Ravana and said, Stop! Why did you do that? Just to show you my love. I love you so much. I can even go up to the extent of chopping my own head. But another head grew by the mercy of Lord Shiva. He offered that. Another one, another one, another one. He offered 10 heads. Seems like he was enjoying that. And Lord Shiva finally said, all right, I give you whatever you want. Now the whole kind of file opened up. You double click on that file and I want to be so much, I want to be so great. Nobody can kill me. I should get what I want. Now, Vibhishan would always counsel Ravana about how to behave properly. Of course, he never ever paid any attention to what Vibhishan said. But now Ravana has kidnapped Sita. Vibhishan can see that this is the end of the whole game. And he said, please give her back. Please give her back. So Ravana tells Vibhishan that just because you are my younger brother, I'm sparing your life. Get out of my sight. So Vibhishana comes from the skyway. All the monkeys are surprised. Maybe he's an enemy. Maybe he's, of course, he's an enemy. He's from the enemy camp. Is he a spy? Is he trying to spoil our endeavor? What is in his mind? But Ram says, I will give him shelter because he has come. And that's where this verse comes in. That once if somebody says, I surrender, I accept him. But he's my surrendered soul already. He's a surrendered devotee already. And no sooner than Vibhishana bows down his head, surprisingly, Lord Ram addresses him as the king of Lanka. And devotees are surprised. Here he is, a refugee. He just ran out of Lanka fearing for his life. And Lord Ram is addressing him as the ruler of Lanka. So one devotee comments that 10 times you chop your head to please Lord Shiva and you become the king of Lanka. Once only you bow down before Ram and you become king of Lanka. See the power of pure devotional service. Srila Prabhupada then talks about the process of thinking, feeling, and willing, which we all know is the role of the mind. The mind does these three things: think, feel, and will. Thinking comes from thoughts. Every thought is like a mental image, a JPEG file for those who understand computer terms. You click on that, the image comes in front of you. So it is just a innocent, harmless thought. But the thinking process, if it goes on at the feeling stage, then looking at a particular image, let's say the image of a gadget, a new phone, furniture, jewelry, shoes, clothing, or even an attractive person. So the next thing is how nice it would look if it is with me, if I drive this car, if I have this jewelry, if I have this, if I have that, or a degree in education, anything. Once it goes from the thinking to the feeling stage, that's the time we need to worry about it. Because very soon it will come in the willing stage. I have to have it. There is no way. Only me, I should have it. It works equally well for spiritual topics also. But there is a struggle involved depending upon how conditioned we are. So we think about chanting Hare Krishna. And as our great experts in chanting guide us, unless you chant with feeling, you can't really keep up the process again and again. And that's the struggle part. A famous incident in the early days of ISKCON, when one devotee asked Prabhupada, can I ask you a question about offering dandavats? Prabhupada said yes, because imagine Western culture, there is no conception of every now and then you go on your force on the ground, touch your head to the ground, recite Vancha Kalpatarubhascha. So the devotee's question was very innocent, simple, and true. Sometimes I don't feel like doing it. What should I do? Be true to my mind. When I feel like doing it, I do it. Sometimes I don't feel like doing it. Prabhupada's answer could not be more succinct, more proper, that do it till you feel like it. So this is our hope, that in the process of sadhana bhakti, with few things, we just keep on doing them. The feeling comes later. We also do other things which help the feeling part come as early as possible, but it's a process and it takes time. So it is about 35, no, about 40 minutes that I spoke. I will now open up the session for any comments or questions. Questions about our topic today first. And if we finish them, then we can have questions not related to today's topic, but about bhakti also. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Shyamananda Prabhu.
Hari Bol.
It's Yashwant Dulal Das and Shriarika. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
So thank you for such a wonderful, deep class. My question was around the point you said in one of your last statements. You know, do it till you feel it, or fake it till you make it, as they say famously. Um, what advice would you give to be able to even do it till you make it? In the sense that sometimes, I'm sure all the other learned Vaishnavas on this call don't feel it that way, but sometimes for me, my japa is joyous and sometimes it's a real drag. So, how do you get through the days of real drag and maybe get to a point of like it's joyous every day?
Okay, good question, Prabhu. And looking at your devotional career, I am convinced you're asking for someone else and not for yourself. Okay, so
I'm asking for myself.
Maybe for me.
okay, I'm taking a hint about the non-bhakti margas, non-bhakti processes, basically jnana, karma, and yoga. So the Bhagavatam is particularly accurate and feels like harsh sometimes. Lord Brahma in his prayers says that, hey, somebody already grew some grains, and in India, in Africa, it is done mechanically in the first world, so we don't see it, but they are thrashed, and the grain is taken out, and the empty husk, sometimes it is kept for giving it as food for the cattle or goats or sheep or whatever. So Lord Brahma says, Sthula Tusha Avaghatinam. Somebody, one farmer has already taken away the grain. Another one sees a whole heap of husk and tells his wife, hey, why do we need to work in the field? There is a lot of tons of grains here. So they bring that empty husk and they keep on pounding, and nothing comes. Why? Because the grain is already taken out. Prahlad Maharaj talks about punas charvita charvananam. And a very graphic example Prabhupada gives about sugar cane. And perhaps some of you in Braj Yatra or in Gaur-Mandal Yatra, you have seen those sugar cane crushing machines where the juice is taken out and the empty chaff is then piled up. What if somebody takes that and starts chewing? The juice is already gone. So just two simple examples. So in these two cases, fake it till you make it won't work at all. You can have utsaha, you can have nishchaya, you can have dhairya, tat karma pravartanat sanga tyaga satovritti, nothing will come. Because the essence is already taken out. Mercifully, thankfully, by Srimati Radhika Devi's grace, Radharani is the bhakti potency. So only with regards to the process of coming close to Krishna, the success ingredients are already there. And they are not given because of a judgment, because of a rational understanding that, oh, this devotee is pure or this devotee is very learned or erudite. As part and parcel of Krishna, that success, that joy of bhakti in a seed form is always there. So in jnana, karma and yoga, we are adding skill sets. We are adding knowledge modules in our life. Somebody wants to perfect his Shirshasana. Somebody wants to perfect his Trikonasana. Somebody wants to learn 30,000 more shlokas. So these are all various things which are added. Only in the process of bhakti, we are removing what is extraneous. That muktir hitva anyatha rupam. The anyatha rupam, the extra things have to be removed. The process is not meant for adding anything. The process is meant for removing. There is already gold, but it is covered with mud. So we are just having a refinery process where in a furnace, the extra things are to be removed. And therefore, there is hope for this show enthusiasm till the real thing comes. Another of my favorite examples is from Rupa Goswami, who says that walking capacity can be said to be already there in a newborn child. So first few steps the child takes, he stands up, falls, but then later he starts walking because the capacity was already there. So this is a major difference between other processes for so-called self-realization and the process of bhakti, where it's just a matter of time before. Now, this matter of time can be a long time, which is a fact, and we can be frustrated, but that's where we just should not allow our mind to take control. We have to say, if not today, at least tomorrow, but I am continuing with this process. Just a few thoughts on this.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else would like to ask something?
Shyamananda Prabhu, Hare Krishna, this is Gaur Shakti Das. Just along the same lines you mentioned, right? Where we have to not let the mind take control. This is something that I am going through. It's struggle right now, right? Because we're working from home, we have so many things going on. We're even worried to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
You get sick. Right now is the greatest need in one sense to take shelter. But there's so many things going on. We just feel, oh, let me take care of this, let me take care of that. I will get to my rounds. How do we really not let the mind take control and say, you know what, everything is happening, but let me really take shelter because this is the time for me to really understand Krishna's mercy. It's difficult, Prabhu. It's just so many things going on when the need is greatest, but then the procrastination in one sense, or the desire to do it tomorrow or day after is also very strong. How do we really get out of this mental, I don't know what is mental fog?
Okay, here is a point. No doubt about it, the situation outside is very dire, very fear-inducing. We feel the economy will save us. My company is going to go strong no matter what. I have my intellect. It's very, very difficult to see all these citadels of hope and strength crumbling right before our eyes. And especially in the first world, where I see in the news that for every two statements about material health, these politicians talk 10 about economic health. So this is how these people are misleading us. And we need to understand that from one point of view, the world is always like this. I read a statement yesterday by one wise person called C.S. Lewis. In 1939, he was telling people that today you feel that there is Second World War looming on the horizon and things are terrible, but actually things are always terrible. War is always like that. It is just that today we are helpless. Today we cannot understand that what can we do about it. So it is surprising that when the Bhagavatam says padam padam yat vipadam, there is misery at every step. The Gita talks about dukkhalayam, it's a abode of misery, and it is ashashvatam, it is temporary. So from the first thing we need to tell our mind is, don't be surprised. Take out the surprise element. Be in the acceptance mode. Because in the acceptance mode, there is reality. There is no fantasy here that somebody can come up with some cure in the next week or something, and everything is going to be back to normal. From the material point of view, this is the normal. I know it sounds harsh, but it's kind of a reality check. So first, that acceptance mode. And then second, because we are active, we are spirit souls. In a very humorous way, Prabhupada is telling his hippie group in New York that Krishna didn't tell Arjun that because I am the Supreme Lord, I will fight this for you and you can smoke ganja. He said, no, you are a warrior, you have to fight. So each one of us is an Arjun. And we could be tinker, tailor, soldier, sailor, whoever we might be. You could be just a housewife, but you are an Arjun. You have your battlefield. You have your favorite Dushasanas and Karnas and Shakunis for whom there is a natural resentment, and you can fight them. But you also have your own individual Bhishmas and Dronas for whom we have a lot of affinity. You say, no, I can't fight them. But war is war. Arjuna had to overcome both sentiments. That is, hatred towards his enemies. He was thinking, I'll just run away from the battlefield. Krishna says, no, you have to fight. But I won't kill Bhishma and Drona, I won't fight them. He says, you have to. So, prioritize your life in today's times. I just talked with a friend yesterday and said that he was telling me that working from home, hell, it's like more work. These people are piling so much on us. And that's what they will do. So, first of all, intelligently accept what's happening. Put on your armor. What's your armor? So our armor is our Shravanam and Kirtanam. Now you talk to yourself, if I go running in the battlefield, shouting at the top of my voice, with no weapons in hand and no armor to protect me, even the weakest of the opposite soldiers can shoot me down. So therefore, prioritizing yourself is, maybe you don't have time 2 hours to just listen to some Hari Katha or 2 hours to chant your rounds. Follow Prabhupada's formula, 4 in the morning, 4 in the noontime, 4 after noon prasad, and 4 before retiring. Prabhupada followed it. And we who are sitting in our temple rooms, we may have all the time. Our lives are different, so to say. But we need to factor in how we can properly understand how to face this. So accept what's going on, make the best use of your common sense, and prioritize. Is it okay, Prabhu?
Thank you, Shyamananda Prabhu. That's very helpful.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, so I just thought since we have come, it has been so crazy. Yeah. Today suddenly I remember I'm like, oh, I should. Yeah. By the way, his LinkedIn is not even updated, so. Oh. So actually,
Should we close? We have about 4 minutes before we close our session.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for a wonderful class. And we will schedule the class for, we will discuss, and I will send out the invitation again to the group.
All right, so we'll offer Vaishnav Pranam, everybody together. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha,
Kalpatarubhyascha,
kripa sindhubhyeva Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Vaishnava Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone
Shyamananda
for
Prabhu.
joining.
Thank you. Run and given. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Shyamananda Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We miss you. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Miss you too.
Thank you everyone for
Hare Krishna,
joining.
Prabhu.
Very